Whatever.
What's up, man?
Feeling a little under the weather today and yesterday, so
Still not feeling super hot.
different now. It's different.
Was what?
Like more like stomach cramps.
Oh no!
Yeah, getting my period.
Ooh, that's flickering.
I was wondering if that was flickering for just me or you too.
No, I have a really janky light set up over here, but that's all right. It'll work. So, feeling bad work today, all that good stuff.
Yeah, nothing too crazy. Thankfully, the day still went by pretty quickly. Still going through the house buying process. Yeah.
Nice.
Kind of. It's can we just be done already?
Yeah, I'm sure. But at least you're moving towards the ultimate goal there.
Yeah, the American dream. Is that still the American dream?
I'm not sure. I don't know. There's people that say that you can't even really actually own a house here because you have to pay taxes on it. And if you own it, why should you have to pay taxes on it every year?
Paying taxes on your own property is absolutely asinine.
Right?
Mm-hmm. It's just funny.
Do you really even own it?
Yeah, exactly. And then it's like, there goes the whole Paul Revere Tea Party scenario that we were basically founded on.
Oh yeah, totally different.
Yeah.
I started talking to my mom today about Trump stuff. And I was like, because, she likes him. And I was like, but do you think he's like really making his own decisions? Or do you feel like he's captured or something?
Yeah. What does she think?
Well, she just wanted to change the subject. She started getting mad. So I was like, all right, whatever.
But when I explain to people that, I'm not very happy with some of the decisions he's been making lately, if he is in fact making them at all, I was like, but that doesn't mean I would have voted the other way, just so you know. It doesn't mean I regret my vote.
Yeah. I can't even really talk about this subject on the podcast.
Yeah, we're good without it.
I want to talk about it, but
let's just go back to if owning a house is not the American dream anymore, then what would be? Do we have to lower the standards?
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like we've talked about this. For some people, the American dream seems to be to just be taken care of in some way. Like people say the American dream is to be rich, right? And so to be rich in their version of to be rich is to be doted upon and to have everything kind of given and delivered to them without having to do anything. A lot of people think that, like, to not work, that's the American dream. To be free from working.
So because winning the lottery?
Yeah, like working is no longer a thing that people take pride in. It's become so the amount of work you have to do for the amount of money you get, and maybe because we all can clearly see that we don't have the freedoms that we thought we would get from working, it's starting to feel a lot more like slavery than like actually like a job that you take pride in that you do.
Yeah, I think it depends still on what state you live in.
Yeah, I just think that the warped perspective of what work used to represent, which was, like you said, it used to represent that you got the American dream, you got the ability to take care of your family. So then, like, whatever political stuff was going on, it was like, well, whatever, I still have my house and I have my kids and I have all this other stuff. It's like,
that's true.
You had that whole thing. And I was like, no matter how bad that gets, this is still pretty good. But now nobody even has that anymore. Not nobody, but a lot of people don't. And They don't feel stable. They don't feel like their families are
Mhm.
protected or taken care of. They don't feel like they're valued at their job. Their job could disappear any minute.
So, I don't know, that sounds kind of like I don't well, of course, it's your personal opinion, but I just mean that sounds like more of like a the way you are sort of thing, because I've worked my way up from, you know, super low paying jobs, and then I've just slowly worked myself up and built a career and a resume, and then I
Me
was
too.
able to start then you're able to start making some money and save some money, and then, uh so I would say the system still is working for me, but I think you have to have some sort of
Well, it's
extra
working
drive,
for
I don't know.
you to the extent that you're able to do things that other people can't do. But we've had this discussion before. The wealth gap is getting further and further to where you're narrowly getting through the wealth gap by buying that house. That house is almost out of reach.
Yeah.
Like you're the last ones making it through the gate. But after you, this next generation, those houses are gonna, if you think they're expensive now, they're gonna be absolutely unattainable. So
Yeah. Yeah, well, in most places around here, they are unattainable.
exactly. So like you're saying that, you worked up. Well, imagine if you worked all of that time and gained all of your success. You're pretty far, you've done pretty well for yourself. And even still, we're almost to that point where that doesn't even afford you enough to get a house,
Yeah,
you
but
know?
I have options. I could move out of this very, 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 very expensive state. And I do understand
Still,
that doesn't mean I'd
housing
get
is
paid
still
the same
very
somewhere else.
housing is
Oh
still
my
really
gosh, man.
expensive.
I know, but
It's
I
expensive
know
here,
oh, yeah, it's one of the top, or the Alaska's one of the top states for that. Uh,
right?
but I think about like my aunt in North Carolina who's a realtor, and like we went to her house and went on their boat, and they're like, look at that house. That house is on a lake. It's beautiful. It's huge. They're like 400,000. I'm like, what the fuck? That's a friggin' $2 million house where I come from.
And in parts of North Carolina, the cost of living is ridiculously expensive too.
Yeah, it's those bigger cities like Seattle and stuff too.
Yeah, the places where all the high-paying jobs are.
Yeah, but I don't live i- in Seattle. Uh, Even now, like I'm 30 miles away from Seattle. I just have to go into work.
Yeah,
It's
but
attainable, and
what do we?
it's
Okay, but the
well.
point is
I
that
think
it
about
used to be
yeah,
easier. We both have to
yeah,
agree.
yeah,
When
yeah. It used to
when
be easier.
when our
Absolutely, I'm definitely not saying that. Yeah,
grandparents were our age, they could afford much more shit by just doing a normal working class job. Like basically back in the day, if you got any kind of a decent job, you were good. Now
no,
it's hyper competitive compared to that.
I agree, and I do
Yeah.
definitely agree.
Yeah.
But I just know there's too many people out there that have so much potential, and then they settle
Well, you're
on.
jumping ahead of my argument. The only point I was you agree with the point I was trying to make, but you don't agree with what you think the implication is, which is that it's impossible to get ahead. And I'm not arguing that it's not. I think
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
people definitely have adopted negative attitudes about work, but we also, I guess all I'm saying is that I'm trying to point out the reasons why I think that may have happened.
yeah,
People
yeah.
have
I totally
adopted
understand.
the don't even bother to try attitude because have how bleak it looks.
You did the smart thing by dissecting the conversation into segments to make conversation, and I was like, no,
You're
skipping
jumping
ahead.
ahead to the
Yeah,
conclusion. Yeah. I just think it's interesting to talk about like maybe why it's happening because I definitely can I can agree up to a point, but then when we get to the point in the argument where I side with you, which is like, what is our alternative? You have to try. And I
yeah,
think, it's just easier to say, I tried and I failed. It's easier to say it's rigged against me than to try and possibly face hardship and failure and all of that because
hmm
I've had multiple careers and things that I've gone through and tried and failed many, many, many times, before I found what worked for me. And it's not a fun experience. So, in a sense, for some people, I can understand that they would just look at that and they would just say, well, look, it's impossible. I'm not, it's impossible. Even if I tried, I wouldn't get there. But that's not true. You can.
Yeah, I just think too many people that just, oh, woe is me. Like you said, it's, the system's rigged against me, and so why would I even try?
It is
It's
kind
like,
of rigged against us, though.
and of course, but that doesn't,
Yeah.
and like I said, these are people that I know have potential to do big things, and they would just rather not.
Yes. You want
Because
people
the
to try
argument
for
was it was so much
themselves.
easier a long time ago. That's your only argument? Well,
Well, that
bootstraps,
brings
dude.
us back to what even spawned this whole conversation, which was the question of what is the American dream. And for a lot of people, the American dream is I want to not have to try. I want it to be easy for me. I
Hmm.
want things delivered to me. I don't want to have to be a wage slave. I want to be able to sleep until when I want to get up. I don't want to have anyone able to make demands of me. I want, and so that,
Super self-sufficient.
yeah, that attitude of I want everything easy and delivered to me is what gets you. I mean, that's what gets you the whole why bother, why try thing. Yeah, yeah, and if even if you
One,
happen,
hold on 1 second. I need to let the dog out before she shits in her diaper.
I was drawing a connection and I've kind of forgotten it
Yeah, it's my fault.
between.
I'm sorry.
No, 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 no. I kind of lost myself. The between wanting everything handed to you or feeling like that's what we should aspire to, which is to have to not work and to be able to relax versus right. And it's the idea that when you think like that, it's almost like you think someone needs to protect you or to take care of you, and that's where growing up kind of changes your perspective on things, because when you grow up and you've been confronted by the reality that nobody's going to protect you, and anybody who says they're going to protect you is angling for something, right? Well, so
They are, but
when the
correct.
government
Yeah.
tells you, I am looking out for your best interest, we're going to give you stuff, when you're
Hmm.
young and idealistic and you've been with your parents who actually care about you and protect you, it's a natural kind of progression to think, oh, well, the government or whatever is an extension of my parents. I've had a pretty good life. No one's really fucked me over really hard yet. So to make that leap to think, well, they're just looking out for my best interest. And ultimately, I don't want to have to do anything. That's what you've been brainwashed into this contorted thought that the goal of life is to not have to do anything and to be given stuff and then to have all this free time to yourself
Hmm.
to just do whatever
Yeah, you're right. We've
your
talked
heart
about this
desires.
before.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that is what you're when you grow up and you've gotten older, you realize after you've been knocked down a few times and you've unfortunately seen how dark the world gets, it kind of like crystallizes in your head, oh shit, like this is actually a much more serious dark place than I realized, and
It can go that way
nobody's
fast.
coming to help me. Yeah. And
That's
that's what you're
true.
saying. When you look at people who are just sitting there waiting for someone to throw them a life raft to save them, it hurts because you're like, fuck, I just want you to like swim for yourself. Like, I've
Yeah,
been
yeah.
swimming and look where, it's hard because you're swimming upstream against the current and like constantly almost drowning, but like I made it ahead and like this is reality. Reality is like you're going to fucking drown if you don't, like you said, like there are people that it is stacked against us. Like it is getting harder and harder. The current's getting stronger and stronger, pulling us back. But like the only thing we can do is fight against that current.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's kind of what I was trying to get to. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
That
it's
that
very well
mentality you
said.
have to adopt. Yeah.
Yeah, you just said everything I wish I could say
Well,
because
you have
I'm
been
not as
saying that. You
smart as
kind of
you.
helped me realize it. No, you helped me realize
uh,
how to piece it together. But that's
Well,
the idea. When you're saying you
yeah,
see these people with potential, you're looking at them, and when you say, well, I could move if I needed to get a house. I could move somewhere and get a house. That mentality, it's not great, but it's facing reality,
yeah,
right? And you say, like, I know it's hard, and I know that a lot of these places I work maybe don't give a fuck about me, and there are forces in the government trying to conspire to make me poorer and poorer, you know.
yep,
But
exactly. So it's like
I'm going to
more
fight
so
no matter what.
the goalposts have probably moved a little bit or a lot. Let's not say a little bit. I don't know. It is a lot. And for me, I was sitting while you were explaining my great point. Uh, I was sitting here. I'm like, okay, what's my next goal? And I think, okay, once I get to move into this house and maintain my mortgage, no problem. I think my next goal is to make sure I'm building a retirement. However, that doesn't mean I'm not going to enjoy what's in between. Like, I'm not going to save all my money. Maybe I'll buy a jet ski or something. You know what I mean? Like, but I think my next big goal is to, beef up retirement, because I think that's where things can get really hard and boring as you get older. Like, you don't want to be stuck in some home because you can't even afford to take care of yourself.
Yeah, agreed. Now, you have to also take into consideration when you say things like that. Um, here's what sucks about this country and the way that we live. What you're describing is laying out a plan of action so that things go optimally, right?
Correct.
But now imagine if something
I did
extreme
that, and then
happened
yeah.
to you against all of the you planning and doing the best you can. Yeah, and it just totally devastated you, and you were in this dire financial situation. The problem is that a lot of us get in this mentality of, you know, we have to do all of these things, and if we do all of these things, we will be successful. Whereas actually, there's a lot of people that do the best that they know how to do, and then regardless of that, they still end up sinking and drowning. And to them, when we say things like this, it sounds like an indictment of their efforts that they've put in. You know what I
Sounds like
mean?
our privilege.
Yeah, and it's shitty.
It is
That's
shitty.
where the gap between being liberal or having concern for other people, having social safety nets for people, and being like, but you have to do it yourself. That's where that middle ground exists. And I'm pretty sympathetic because for the longest time, I didn't have all of my ducks in a row, and it was really hard. And if somebody just told me, well, tough luck, I probably would have been fucked for a lot longer. And
All
so,
because somebody said that to you?
well, I'm saying if I was in that situation where I'm drowning and I'm asking for help and people are looking at
Oh,
you
yeah.
drowning and they go, "Hey, tough luck," which has happened. Like I think I told you the story where we were living in Anchorage. I had one
Yeah.
vehicle, my battery was dead, and I asked the guy to jump me, and
Yeah.
he just turned around and he was like, "Fuck you!" Like he laughed, he
And then you,
scoffed
in
at me.
turn, there was like, now I'm not stopping for anybody.
But no, I have stopped for people
I
though.
know.
I stopped for some dude not too long ago and helped him out. But that's the thing is that, and yeah, sure, maybe in turn that has happened to me. But I'm saying that's the point is that when we start to be successful and start to get on that trajectory of success, it's a lot easier to then turn around to people who are further down than you, who have made poorer decisions and haven't quite learned from their mistakes, to look at that and then to pass judgment, or at the very least say, well, figure it out. Not my problem. And then
Well,
that's where
I'm not.
villains are born.
Yeah, but I don't think most of us are like that. We're not gonna be like, no, most of us. We're not gonna be like, sorry, dude. Like, but that's why people even created things like GoFundMe and stuff. It's because we do
True.
care. We are empathetic and sympathetic to the things that people have to deal with and how hard it is, and we do give when we can. And um, so there is that. more sense of community that helps lift people up. But I I just I can't imagine being the person that's just like I said earlier, woe is me. I can't believe that I have to deal with this and I'm never gonna get anywhere ever. I had moments like that? Yeah, but you just you figure it out. It always makes me laugh when people are like, "Oh, I can't have a baby right now. I can't afford it." But it's like everybody says that. Every single person has said that. And it's in our biology to just make these babies.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're right. You're right, but for someone, not for everyone, but for some people to get to the place where they say, "I give up," that's that's a pretty dark place to be.
I imagine, yeah.
It's, when you finally say, "I have exhausted my efforts," and, that tolerance for handling that level of stress and depression is different for everyone. So for me, I might have a higher tolerance for stress and shit going sideways than most people. I know I do because 'cause I've just encountered a lot of it, and I've built up a pretty strong tolerance, but for some people, it can be like one thing, and it takes the wind out of their sails, and they're completely devastated, and they're like, "Fuck it, I'm done trying, I'm gonna go get drunk, I give
Does that
up."
mean they've hard like, does that mean they just haven't faced enough adversity in their life?
I
Or
don't think so,
it's
I
just
think
like you said, the tolerance?
it's a tolerance. It's everybody, some
And
people
that is
tolerate
sad.
differently. I'm sure there's different reasons. Maybe it's upbringing. It's, just they were taught certain ways of coping. And then, some people just feel more strongly than others. But, I do feel bad for people that get to that point where they just give up. Like, I don't think people by nature want to give up. I think we all actually are born with a drive to live. The opposite. That's why you wouldn't just stand there if someone pulled out a gun or tried to kill you. Your instinct is like, even if you're depressed, it's like you don't want to die usually.
Correct, yeah.
But if you do, imagine how dark that is. That's like
Yeah.
insane.
I probably sound super insensitive. I just know there's way too many people out there that would rather complain and hope something big happens to them than take that next step forward. And that's what gets frustrating for me because I can't tell which person you are until I really actually know you. So how many of us are out there of them, I would say, because I'm definitely not that way. How many people are out there that are actually just so deep down in the hole that they can't dig out of it? And how many are just like, I'd rather not try because it's too hard.
Well, I think that too, they say, they're in that mindset of asking for help. They're in the mindset of like, they think they're drowning, and so they think they need to be rescued, but they haven't been taught correctly, like what we were discussing, that like you're just fighting a strong current and you need to swim upstream as hard as you can. And maybe they have in their some of them maybe have in their life faced abandonment, and so as soon as they feel that sense of helplessness, they're immediately panicking and like, I've lost control, it's over, and then they just, like, let go and drift, downstream. That could be it. But I'm just saying, you know, regardless of their situations, it's sad because I think that what a lot of these people who are giving up, it they've asked for help so many times. They've maybe burned bridges because they've just relied upon help so much and
That's true.
never figured out how to succeed
Don't you feel like
enough. Yeah.
that's just the fast track to basically, not that it's a bad or good thing. I mean, it's certainly bad. The fast track to just giving up and saying the world's against me because you have
Yeah,
too many
that's how
people in
you
your life that will
become.
say
That's how you
no.
become. Yep, that's exactly how you become because instead it's a way of reclaiming some sense of ownership over your situation is because when you're helpless, it's disempowering to say to face the truth of that. So what's more empowering is that if you make a conspiracy where you say, everything's stacked against me, and then you turn into a villain basically. Your
Yeah,
anger
it's
consumes
true.
you because you're like, well, now I have to fight this. I have to fight this and to reclaim ground. It gives you like a mission, and it gives you a sense of like they're the bad guys and I'm the good guy. So I'm actually up here instead of being on the bottom where you really are fighting, for your life. It switches that psychologically for you. But I think you have to be so low down and, you know, for that switch to occur where you become, vindictive and hateful rather than just like sad and helpless.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a defense mechanism to become and
Totally.
think of, Gypsy Crusaders, kind of the first person I think of,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. It's a defense mechanism. It's a way to be like, I'm a tough guy. No one can hurt me.
or also a way to take control.
Yeah, it's taking control for
Yeah.
sure. Because it makes you feel good to feel like victorious in a way. Like you're
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
claiming
Yeah.
some victory. Even if you're just being mean to people or imposing your will upon people, or that's what a lot of those protesters do out there is they make a big scene with their signs and they try to mess with how things, big businesses and people function. And then that gives them a sense of having accomplished something and having some voice in the world. Sad though.
I was just gonna literally say sad. It is sad.
It's
Yeah, like I said,
sad.
I probably
And
sound pretty insensitive.
no, I mean, I think everybody becomes insensitive. I become insensitive because you meet people in those states of mind and they're not healthy, so they're not good people to be around. Like by definition, they're like toxic people. So, and there's not much you can really do for them. So, and that can become infuriating if you are. I think probably actually I'm a pretty sensitive person who gets distraught if I let that stuff in like pass through my defensive layer. So I think in response to that, I just get mad because I don't see any answer. And so it just pisses me off. Like you said, it's like, you're not trying. I know what you should be doing. I've been there myself. But I can't teach you that because unfortunately you can't really impart that to someone who's in that situation.
No, they won't accept it.
And if you do help them, it's short term. So you're like, I'll help you, but then I'll come back here tomorrow and you'll be back where I found you after I just tried to help you out. So it just pisses you the fuck off. And you either have to get sad or you get angry at the person because you're like, why don't you just figure it out? And that sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sad. It's like you see somebody drowning, but you don't want them to bring you down with you because they don't care to swim.
Yeah, it reminds me of unfortunately a relative of mine who I cared for deeply. And I mean, because they were my family and I love them, but it was like you said, they'll every time you see them, it's like not only are you doing the bad thing that you've done your whole life that's led to all of the problems that you deal with, the thing that if you could just fix it, you might be able to straighten it out, but you're not trying. And then when you come around, you bring everyone else into it. And
Mhm.
so, and it's like bad for kids to see, and it's hurts. Like, I don't want to put more mental effort into trying because it just mentally exhausts me. So people are just kind of like, I wish you'd just go away, you know? And
Yeah.
that's like rough.
Yeah, it's also potentially healthy for you. Healthier.
That's the pro. So then so that's the two thoughts, right? It's healthier for you and do what is best for you and optimize your life. But then at the
Well,
same time,
especially after you've already tried. As long as you're just like
yeah.
you tried, to help.
Yeah. And sometimes I think in my mind that when I see people like that, I think I get to the state where I've seen people try to help some of these people so many times, and it almost seems after you watch it and you're like, I know people have tried to help you with kindness and compassion like 1,000 times, and it seems to be making it worse. And has anyone tried tough love? And that's what it comes into my head is I'm like, has anyone just gotten downright mad and told you the I'm sure they have, but that's
Well,
what I
maybe it
think
was from
sometimes.
somebody else you had to hear it from. Like
Yeah.
when you're with your family sitting there, giving you tough love. It's like, good, it's just what you're supposed to be or do. But then you get a family friend or even a close friend. I feel like if you were to like yell at me like that, I'd be like, oh shit, dude, you're absolutely right. Like, but if a family
Yeah.
member did, depending on which family member, I might be like, dismissive, be like, whatever, you're just being mean or
I think the problem is that people in you have self-respect, and that's why it would hurt you. But people in those situations a lot of times don't have any respect for themselves, and so when you say, "Hey, you're being a piece of shit right now," they're like, "Yeah, I know. I am a piece of shit." And you're just kind of
yeah, they just
reinforcing
doubled
what they
down
already
on it.
think about
Yeah.
themselves. Yeah, so it's like that doesn't help. I sometimes I think the only thing that can help is trying to be nice like a million times over and then just leaving it to them. That's all you can really do.
Yeah, but I feel like if you're going to be too nice is when might people
Well,
might start asking you for stuff.
right, you have to have boundaries, but you have to still show you have to show compassion, like you said, in a way that's not damaging you. Because if they're damaging you, then what they're doing, I guess definitionally, would be evil because they're already sick and then they're spreading that they're not in control and they're spreading that toxicity around to other people. So that's like evil corrupting more people through them. And if
Hmm.
you allow that to happen, then you are contributing to the evil, right? Evil is just like a placeholder term, but it's allowing darkness or whatever to
No, I
spread
got you. Yeah.
to
Yeah, I
other
agree.
people. Yeah, so the only thing you could do then is say, I'm going to only extend myself so far as it doesn't your darkness doesn't like plague me. And so just do what's within your ability to do, but as long as it's not overextend like don't give them tons of money because then if they ask for more, you're gonna be broke. But if you want to swing by and give them something thoughtful to show them that there's kindness and compassion in the world. It just reminds me of the lady I know that was in jail, and it took the nuns coming to the prison and coloring with them like
I remember you
for
telling that
a
story. Yeah.
long time. Yeah, I've heard like being with those nuns for it to finally click, like they embodied the right way to be. And then that when she finally actually saw that as a real thing, when she saw the opposite of it and compared the two together, when she saw someone in prison behaving like really scared and aggressive, she saw them in comparison and realized, I want to be like the other one. Like she saw through the darkness. What
Yeah.
an upbeat episode.
I know. It's like it's
Me
depressing.
monologuing about darkness. Well, I don't know. When conversations come into my mind, I just have to go for it.
Oh no. I don't blame you.
Well, we're
You're
talking
good at
about
it, so.
poor people and the American dream and stuff, and I just think it's depressing to me that there's this giant unsolved problem of so many people in our country, which is supposed to be the breadbasket of the world, where anyone can have an opportunity to succeed, and yet we see so many people that are not succeeding. It's kind of like feels like we should figure that out, but I'm sure there's brilliant people who are trying and still haven't quite figured that out yet.
Maybe, or it's kind of what you said earlier, which was uh people want someone to take care of them, and so I think when generations maybe slowly but surely get beaten down and the dream gets a little bit further away, maybe they do succumb to wanting the government to take care of them.
it feeds into what you were saying at the end of the last episode where you were railing against the heavens that um, AI was going to turn people into fat Wally people. And it's
Yeah.
kind of that same point. It's like when you introduce convenience into society, you're going to have a pretty big group of people who are going to opt for the easier and get depressed because they don't have the mental framework correctly installed in their mind, which probably goes back to primitive humans, the framework we're referring to. They
Right.
I almost had to recondition myself to recognize in my mind, right? Like it's in there, but for me to recognize like, hey, you know, you have to like really try and have pride in yourself and give it your best effort and then you'll feel better. That was almost a foreign concept. But once you start doing it and you realize it's like this little flame has been burning in you, instilled by your ancestors and their ancestors, it's like it's a thing of being alive. It's just part of being alive to have that in you. But we, by having a society of convenience, it
Yeah, we
has
get numb to it.
stolen our real programming that we have. And like you said, when we no longer have to work because AI just does everything, what will we do with our instinctual conditioning that if we ignore it, we become depressed? That's when people are depressed. That's what's happening. They're ignoring their conditioning, which says, work hard, go as hard as you can. You will sleep so well if you know you did as hard. You'll feel good about yourself, you know?
Absolutely. It makes me, I saw this reel recently, and it was, what's gonna it's definitely not gonna happen this way because it's like the anti-Wall-E argument, but it's like, what's gonna happen is we're gonna rely on AI so much that we will need to supplement and create energy by having humans run on treadmills. And then they become the most jacked humans of all time. Like, they turn
And they
that
feel like
energy.
badasses, like they're
Yeah, yeah. I'm like,
holding
that
up
is
the old.
very scary and potentially optimistic, I don't know.
I guess my optimistic view of the AI thing is that instead of, because I think it kind of splits. I think right now we're at the peak of people feeling disenfranchised and ignoring their programming. I think there's actually a resurgence of people trying to rekindle their connection with their soul. Like, what are we? What are we here for? What are we, like you said, having babies and things that we're supposed to do? People are starting to reconnect with that and to say, fuck, you know, technology, or like, fuck sitting in front of the TV all day. I'm gonna like force myself to ignore those things that I'm learning are toxic for me and to reconnect with my humanity. And I think in a way, AI is just gonna further
Push people away from
instill
it.
that in people.
That,
Yeah,
yeah.
and even if they don't completely um ignore AI, I think we reached the I think we've crested the peak of realizing how bad it can be for people to become disconnected from their humanity, and we're starting our return, like we're coming back down. So there's going to be less. I think more people are going to start finding who they are.
You're gonna
So
see
we don't
some
have
more
to,
pushback.
yeah, so we don't have to worry so much about that. And my hope would be that with AI, we would then understand we have to stay connected to our humanity, and we have to continue to, the most important thing is just continue to to try to serve the purpose of our lives, which is to build, create, and fulfill some kind of a function. Don't just sit there like a couch potato and let things come to you. Otherwise you're not going to serve a purpose, and your body's going to know that, and you're going to want to die. So you have to serve some purpose. So to utilize the AI as it gets smarter and smarter to perform functional tasks that you as a human know need to happen. So if we can use AI and say like, let's put them on high level tasks, there'll be people using AI and really making an effort to like serve some function within the system. Even if the AI is doing the high level thinking, we still need to serve some function within that system to like delegate tasks and figure out what it is we want out of AI, you know?
It's a really good optimistic idea, and I think what made me really convinced is that I think you're right. Like people are starting to push back a little bit,
Yeah.
and so I hopefully that just makes everybody go down that same track of being maybe just more physical thing. I don't know, like you said, just get away from the TV at night and like I've done had enough with AI or stuff for the day, so I'm gonna go for a run or something.
Yeah. Yeah, well, like even look at, working on this project trying to figure out how to do stuff with AI right now, and really what AI is doing for me is making me realize that how much time can I save with AI doing things that I actually really don't want to do. There are things that
Mhm.
up until now have been necessary things for me to have to do if my ultimate goal is like I want to create this project. There's steps that I have to take that are going to take time, but there are things I would rather not do. And so if AI can do those things, but then that just puts me ahead of schedule in terms of how fast I'll make things, and it gives me different decisions that I have to make as the human overseeing the project, but I'm still participating, right? It's still
Oh, yeah,
serving
look at how much it's
me.
been failing for you. So
Yeah.
you're like and you're molding AI.
Well, that's what I would want to do, right? You don't just want to
Yeah.
give a machine everything and say, "Here, go for it," you know? You want it we're creators. They're the tool, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
we talked about that too, as long as you always know that.
yes, you have
Like,
to remember you're the creator, but that's the only way it's gonna be a fulfilling thing for you anyways, is if you maintain the creator position and say, "I wanna get something out of this too. I wanna feel like I did something."
yeah, absolutely. I
If
mean,
it
you have to have that, otherwise you're a fraud.
Otherwise, you're just looking for pats on the back, cheap pats on the
Yeah,
back,
yeah,
which is gross.
it is gross,
Who would want that?
dude. If they got him famous,
I could not live with myself if I was famous and I knew it was based off of a lie, like I was telling to say I made this thing and I knew actually AI had created the whole thing, I would feel
like
terrible.
fraud. Yeah.
Yeah. I think some people can
I think,
justify that
unfortunately,
shit,
there's too many people out there that do justify that.
but some people can justify it and sleep at night by saying, well, I'm just trying to make money and take care of my family. And I did,
Delivered a product.
but they're not artists.
No.
That's not art. That's just being a capitalist. That's all that
Yeah,
is.
the worst kind. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw you smell your thing, so I had to get it
Yeah.
out. Well, that's the problem with
Uh,
capitalism, isn't it? It doesn't always reward integrity.
no, there's like anything else, though, there's good capitalists and there's bad capitalists.
Well, we're seeing with China. So that's the thing, right? So the person who comes up, the innovator, is not always the one who makes the most money. So you got the guy who first creates something who should really be the one who makes all the money. But then the second guy who can come in and make it cheaper or steal, like reference what was made before, but just make minor tweaks to it. And sometimes they're the ones who end up raking in all the dough, or the guy who hired that guy.
You
That
could
guy worked,
argue that that's like almost any product
yeah, it's
where
a
they don't have a
history of
monopoly on it.
creation.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah, you're right though,
sucks.
that the guy that created that first came up with the ideas definitely made less money on it than anybody else.
And then China stealing all of our intellectual property. We have the surplus of creators who are our money has afforded us our little bit of luxury has afforded our creative minded people a little bit of comfort, and that comfort has allowed them to think on that high level where they're like innovating. I think that's what's good about comfort is that it allows people who can utilize it properly to say, I no longer have to worry about survival anymore. I'm set. So now I can worry about thinking of new shit. Like that's cool.
I
But
mean,
then China sweeps in and steals the IP and then sells it for way cheaper and makes their slave people build it. I guess that's not capitalism, though. We're trying to crack down
uh,
on that. But
I
I don't know.
wonder if everybody has a little bit of art in them, they just haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah, I mean,
A
I'm
little bit of
sure they do.
creativity. I would think so.
Maybe not everybody, though. I don't know. Do you think the incredibly because there's the two sides of the brain. I actually know a guy who had an employee who had half of her brain was shut down, and so she was basically like a human calculator.
Mhm.
I'm not sure that she had any creativity because I think that that exists on the other side of the brain.
Maybe that like people that try to do, solve equations for a living, those kind of scientists, that could be art to them. But I know it's
Yeah,
a left versus right side of the brain sort of thing. I guess maybe it's how you define it. But also, if you just,
it
I mean,
is
that is
definitely how you
obviously a
define it.
sadly freak accident. So,
Yeah,
but like
yeah.
the average person, and it doesn't mean you're good at it, just that you like to do it.
Well, there's some mathematically minded people who you wouldn't think were great artists, and then they pick up an instrument and do crazy shit.
Oh yeah,
And
because
so
they
you're like,
understand. Like,
whoa, that's
yeah.
cool. You know,
So is doing a puzzle a more left or right sided brain thing?
well, I'm assuming it's the was it the right side? Is that the one that's the non-artistic?
I think so.
I think so. Nope. Right brain is creativity, so it's left brain.
Oh, okay. So I don't know,
Analytical mathematics, reading,
but I think
sequencing.
there's art in math. I would say. I
Well,
guess it's
kind of,
just the
but
way you define it.
sequencing things is yeah,
So pattern versus creativity.
I've always defined art as when things are able to be sequenced, then they lock into an orderly state.
Yeah, yeah,
But the art
structure.
is that it's the chaos introduced into it's like a tiny bit of chaos, through chaos growth happens, you know.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Yeah. You have to be able to exist in a controlled chaos. That's why the craziest people sometimes make a couple amazing pieces of art before they kill themselves.
Like that German guy.
Yeah, right. Like Van Gogh,
Sure. Oh yeah, sure. That's
all
not who I
those
was thinking of.
guys. I know.
uh,
Um,
I guess it also
yeah.
is. What do you get out of it? Maybe. No, I don't think that's true. I was
What?
thinking like if there's some sort of different type of reward you get from art via solving a puzzle, like what is the satisfaction that you get if they're different? Maybe that's the definition or that's what separates them, but I don't think
Well,
so.
yeah, you might be kind of right there because when I think artistically, and I know you've mentioned this as well, when you're hung up trying to make up a poem or come up with a poem, it's almost like you're looking for the right words, like they exist out there, but you haven't found them yet.
Yeah,
So, and the same thing with people solving high level math equations, they're looking for, they're trying to find ways to explain things that are out there too. So, maybe there could probably be something to that. Because when I think of art, when it's successful, it's because it's true. So it's almost like you have solved a math equation or you've created some kind of a math equation and that equation checks out as being true. You've taken abstract things, but you've put them in a way that seems to check out mathematically. Like nobody watches it and goes like, "Oh, that well," because if it's false, it's not going to be effective. Probably,
Mm,
you know.
you're right. Maybe I am right.
Yeah, so that's what
But
you said
if
you're
we're
trying to
all in
write a poem.
a simulation,
Oh my god,
then no. Oh my
simulation
god.
theory.
Ear
Well,
Earlier you had said something, and I don't remember what part of the conversation it was, but I got the worst feedback in my ear, and I made such a weird face that I was like, "That's gonna come across funny on here." Like I just totally disagreed with what you said.
it's all good, man. Well, yeah, I don't know. Art is the majority of my life, I feel like at this point, which is kind of crazy. I get scared when I feel like I put too much stock in like what we've been talking about when you say uh having your life kind of dialed in. Something about it I'm
Is
always
unsettling.
or I'm like, "Oh, it's gonna fuck with my art because it's gonna make things too, like, organized and perfect," and I kinda feel like I need turbulence,
Well, I
but it's
think
probably not true.
no, I actually what I think is that your photography is a job, and at this point maybe it's less art for you and more structured work,
100%.
and then that gives you the chance, and you do well at it, so then it gives you the time and to create other forms of art, and still, we've talked about, trying to monetize things, so it's like still trying to move on up.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Because
For
as long
sure.
as your photography stays successful, it's okay if your art fails, you can just find a different form, or you just get better at it.
Yeah, well, without money, it's very hard to make
That's why
yeah.
you're yeah, you'd have to, stay successful.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't know, man. I wonder if there's a certain age where you kinda age out of being able to make significant and why is there it's hard to get out of the mindset of trying to make significant art versus like what really is the whole point? Are we trying to make art because we enjoy it? Because I've never really enjoyed the process that much. It feels like I'm trying to I am trying to get something from people. I want something out of people through the
That's true.
art.
Yeah,
I want
I do too.
recognition or something, you know?
Well, maybe it is like you said, we're just kind of craving a little bit of the chaos that's involved in it. So in your job, even though it used to be, or I'm not speaking for you, but used to be art for you, is now just a structured job. uh, Now you need to find other ways to introduce the chaos. And you might as well do that and get paid for it.
Yeah.
And whether you're paid by money or just, you know, people loving it and talking to you about it. And
But you enjoy woodworking. You enjoy that as a craft.
yeah, it's like one of the only things, well, that's not true. I was going to say one of the only types of art I do for myself, but I do that for other people too. But I see something, I'm like, I want to create this. And then that's for me, or my family. Uh, but then also I do the poetry for myself because, like most things in life, you're not going to please everybody. And if somebody doesn't like one of my poems, I could care less,
Mhm.
unless you're being a dick about it.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that's the smartest, healthiest way to approach art is to do it if you're going to do it. Yes, do it at the highest level that you can, but ultimately do it for yourself because that saves you the um pain of if you make it and nobody gives a fuck, at least you can say I enjoyed the process of making
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
you know.
That's true.
Whereas, setting yourself up for disappointment by being like, this has got to be huge, that's gonna be hard to handle.
If you don't get the level of success that you wanted from it, that's kind of
Hmm.
awful feeling. It's like you
But
can't go
yeah,
into
it's
like
unsustainable.
yeah, exactly, yeah. You
That's
and
how
to be
I've
able to
been.
get it right the first time is lucky.
Impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I've approached art, and that's probably why I've had such a hard time with my output, and that's but it's also what drives me. Like when I was making my film, I was pretty fucking driven, like, loading the car up with all this shit, wrangling all these people, like it was a lot, and I'm about to put a lot of work into this other thing too. And so, but the drive is because I perceive the possibility of a huge reward on the other end of it. But it's unsustainable to keep that like level of intensity up for a long time. It'll burn you the fuck out
That makes sense.
by being like
Especially on
everything
top
is
of your top of everything
yeah,
else, yeah.
and then you go like everything either succeeds or fails by this project my whole life. You kind of like make it such a big thing, you know?
You're definitely gonna just be met with disappointment.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Hmm. Stressful. You want to do the wheel?
All right, folks, let's spin the wheel of whatever.
Greed.
Greed.
Just gonna just gonna be a sad episode.
Maybe.
Greed and rules. Oh, it almost went to money. I actually think that's kind
Greed.
of on track for some of the stuff we talked today, kind of about which we've also talked about on the wheel is, having boundaries or setting boundaries more so that greedy people can't and boundaries as in rules, um, to keep those greedy people away. That's the only way I can really think of it right now. I mean, other than like my own greed, there's still rules you have to follow. You can't just go rob a bank. I mean,
Do
you
greedy
could.
people follow the rules? Do they have a set of rules, or does the greed overwhelm their.
I think there are several types of greedy people. I think there could be ones that follow the rules or do the loop, find the loopholes, which is a gray area. But then there's definitely greedy people out there that break the
We're all
rules.
greedy to some degree, right?
Yeah, we kind of have to be.
Everyone has something they want. They're
That's why
greedy
we don't
about.
just give away our time except for our friends and family. I don't just give
Yeah.
away my time for a stranger that often.
Even the most selfless person you can meet, there's something there's their weakness that if you put it in front of them, they would have a hard time sharing it with somebody else because they want it all for themselves. Everybody's got that.
Yeah, there's something in them. It's not always money.
Could be titties.
And greedy titty guy.
Just loves the
I don't like
titties,
that
not
guy.
gonna
He's a
share them.
greedy titty guy.
Yeah. Could be pie. Could be attention. Lots of people are greedy with attention. If you try to steal the
Oh yeah.
attention from them, they get fucking mad. They don't even see it as a
Mm-hmm.
problem. They don't
Then
understand.
they end up getting attention for acting like a lunatic.
And they like
So
that too
breaking
sometimes.
like the social rules just to get your attention.
Oh, that happens all the time.
Oh yeah. No, way too many
Yeah.
people like that.
Almost everybody on YouTube is trying to find some negative way to get likes and subscribes.
A negative way? By
Yeah,
being,
they'll
like a
like
dick?
being a dick or like doing a topic that's like taboo or whatever to just try to,
Ah, get the
you know what I mean?
attention. Yeah, I got you.
Well, look
Yeah.
at
Yeah, they
Logan
don't even
Paul or
believe it.
whatever.
Oh, yeah.
He was like showing dead bodies and pretending like he put on those glasses and he could suddenly see color and crying about that. Like he was doing whatever he could to try to get
Mhm.
attention.
Yeah, but then there's people out there that they attract attention the right way, and I don't mind. Like, I don't, I don't mind the hustle. That's kind of what we're doing, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Yeah,
some
yeah,
some people do that, but like a lot of people on YouTube are going out like punching people or screaming at
yeah. But
people
they're
or
not that.
whatever.
The more successful people are the ones that have put out positive, good content. I would argue.
Yeah,
That's probably just because I watch a lot of YouTube golf.
you watch good stuff. Yeah, you watch.
Yeah.
I see all the kids on there that are getting pretty famous by just being obnoxious to people.
I hate that.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I
Well,
liked was that kid that got famous. All he did was review toys, and he
that's
blew up
so
on YouTube.
wholesome and sweet.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know where he's at now. Hopefully not like a druggie somewhere.
Yeah, well, whenever somebody sees rules in place, I think that there's a way to capitalize on like finding a way to go against the rules. There's always a way to do that, to be like counterculture, to find an angle to, you know, come in and be like a little anarchist,
Like
fuck
P
up
Diddy.
everything they worked on creating. Like P. Diddy? Is that
Yeah,
what you said?
yeah.
That's your anarchist? Now I'm thinking like the Joker or whatever. Somebody who's like,
Give me a real life scenario.
yeah, give you a real life scenario of
Yeah.
someone like that. Shit, man, Tom Green. He'd go around and just like scream in people's faces and do weird, like stick his ass out and all kinds of weird stuff. Like he
It's true.
was, he would go.
He's like,
His whole shtick was based on there are rules in a society and I'm not going to follow them, and that's going to be funny.
that's a great point.
That's what all of these kids are doing now.
Uh,
If there was no order in society, they would have no shtick because they would get shot right away and it would be over.
that's true. Oh man, dude, I just think
So
Freddie got fingered.
great
Tom
movie.
Green. It's great, awful movie.
Classic, underrated classic.
I like Road Trip too. He's
Yeah,
just
that's actually really good.
he's just a
Watched it
small
not that long
character in it,
ago.
but he's hilarious.
He is hilarious.
Did you like Road Trip too?
Greed. Huh?
Did you like Road Trip too?
What? Road Trip 2?
Euro Trip is what it's called.
Euro Trip. That's a
That's why
different movie.
Yeah, but they're from the same people. They sell it in a pack.
Yeah, but it's not Road Trip 2. It's Euro Trip.
Yeah, definitely not what I meant. That's why I
thought
was
there was
like,
a sequel that I didn't
no
know
Euro
about.
Trip. Did you like that one?
Yeah, it was okay. It wasn't as good as
I thought that one was good too.
It was good. It wasn't as good as Road Trip to me, but
Yeah.
Greed. Come on, man. Greed. What else? Greed. Greedy people. What do they do?
Like we were doing fine.
We've got to follow the rules on the board and talk about greed.
Most people just think about the money, but I liked your attention. What else are we greedy about?
Food.
Even like you said, like in the worst way to say it was titties, but if you were like you're greedy with your women, you just go around cheating all the time and just doing as many girls as you wanted.
Greedy about yourself. That's what greed is. It's self-serving, right? Putting yourself before other people.
Your body count.
Is that so? Is the rules of kind of Christianity, is that to put others? Is it to put others before you, or do you put yourself before others? How does that go?
I don't know. You just do unto others as you would want done unto you. That's a different question, but
I'm looking this up. Are we supposed to put ourselves first?
I think it depends
In
on the person.
Christianity, the core mandate is to put others before yourself, modeling the self-sacrificial love of Jesus. I thought so. That makes sense. Jesus died for everyone.
Correct. But I was just thinking, like, well, if I don't know, it's like who is everyone else? Is it the majority or is it just not you? Because if there's 99 people that I do something and it'll serve them, but it'll hurt another person who's closer to me, I probably won't do it.
Well, I don't think it always means you have to do something for other people. It means that you don't think about yourself as the center of the
Isn't
world.
that how you describe me all the time?
What? Yes, that is. That's you. That's you, man. That's what I say. That's why you have a successful marriage. It says the key to a successful marriage is to say, I am no longer the center of my world. I'll do stuff for her, even if it's not exactly what I wanted to do, because her happiness is like that's the rules, man. That's the
Yeah, but
rules
when you
right
got
there.
two people like that, it's so hard to decide on what you want to do for dinner.
Well, that sounds like a good problem to have.
I know.
It's
Which
both people care more about the other person than the other one. That means you're both covered. Cancels each other out. Both people are taken care of. That's great.
yeah,
Maybe
so
that's the
we're like,
problem. Maybe
no, just
greed is. Maybe it just comes from a fear of not having that.
or it just being taken away because
Yeah,
you
like
get
you're like,
the more you have, sometimes the greedier you get.
but you're like, if I don't take care of myself, no one will, right?
Right.
But then if you're like, no, but if I like do this for them, they'll do it for me, and then I won't have to worry about myself so much. Like we'll all look
That
out for
is,
each other. Is that that's the better way to be?
I think so.
You hurt less
But
people
I
that
still
way.
think you end up, well, that's why I said the one thing about, say, I could help 100 people by, I don't know, like by doing A. But if I do A, the other person I love more gets option B, and that is detrimental to them. And then so I would rather give to that one person than the 100 strangers.
But you're still thinking about other people in that example. You're not
Yeah.
thinking
It's
about
just like a,
taking care of Mark.
right.
As long as you're thinking about someone that's not you, I think you're fine. I think the scariest thing in this world is a greedy narcissist because people acting in their own interest are the ones who have no compassion. They don't have compassion for other people. When you see someone, even if they care about someone who you think is undeserving of their care, even if they care about a douchebag, you're like, so at least you see them caring about someone that's not them. You
Mm.
then registers to you, okay, so they're capable of caring about me too, you know,
Yeah.
or they're
No,
not just
you're
fixated
right.
on themselves. Yeah.
See, I was just sitting here trying to make sure I'm not a bad person for caring about one more or one person instead of
More
100.
than others. No, I think
Yeah,
that's fine. People make that kind of that's probably better actually that you
I would
do.
think so.
I think you can't spread your love to that many people without diluting it to the point of it not really being beneficial anyways. Like I've met
Yeah,
people
because
who have way too many friends and it's like you're not a good friend to any of them because you have so many friends.
yeah. So no, that's a good point because it's like I could help 100 people with $100 or a dollar each, or I can help one person have $100 and get groceries for
Exactly.
the day or something.
And also and that's the other thing, but that's scary too, putting all of your eggs in one basket with one person, then you're
Hmm.
really trusting and relying on that person's going to reciprocate, because if they don't, then you just blew your whole wad on someone who doesn't give a
Wait,
fuck
why
about
do
you.
they have to reciprocate? Isn't that greedy?
Well, I think that's how it's,
I
I
think
think
by maybe
that's,
just doing the right thing with your generosity is probably,
yeah. But I mean, I don't think they have to reciprocate, but I think ideally, like, that's how we.
you would hope that they would,
Sure,
if
maybe
they,
they don't
yeah,
have to reciprocate. Maybe you do for that person and then someone else does for you and you're not giving it back to them. but they're
Yeah.
giving theirs to
To
you
pay
and
it
you're giving
forward.
yours to them, and it's all, yeah, and someone's taking care of everyone. But that's why I think like biblically and historically, they always say take care of the poorest, lowest person in your society. That's how you know how healthy a society is if you see a person who's poor and helpless, you stop and take care of that person. And in our society, we don't do that. However, and historically, usually when somebody's in that situation, it's because they've really legit, through no fault of their own, have fallen on hard times. And nowadays, it's like you're not even trying to help yourself. So
Yeah, I also think nowadays it's a lot like we're being told who's the group you have to take care of, and while the other ones are not a priority, and you have people with different priorities. So we sit here and we bicker about that. No, I want to help the homeless on the street. No, I want to help the veterans, who serve for the country, and that's a sad thing that we have to argue about. But I think that's like you said, when there's more, let's say, groups that we need to care about, it like the care gets diluted. So if we
it
were
gets
just to lump
diluted.
everybody into like uh, just somebody needing help, then it's probably would be a lot. I bet it would be a lot nicer country right now.
Yeah, if everyone cared about other people. That's yeah, so
Yeah,
that's
but
the
then
opposite of greed.
you have people like maybe me and you who are like, no, the government's freaking tearing us down. And so it's like I can't give anything away because I'm getting everything taken away. Not everything, but I'm getting a lot taken away.
I think it's
So it's
because
like swimming against that current.
we keep buying the lie, or some people keep buying the lie that they care
Care
about
about them.
you,
Yeah.
and they don't. They're like, we care about you, which frees you up where you can just focus on yourself, right? But really what it should be, like social security, or social, like welfare, in the best of instances, would be used to take care of your family. Like you would use it to take
But
care
we
of your
take advantage
family.
of it to
Yeah,
not
but
work.
people just take it, and then they just say they just don't get a job. They're like, I don't want to work, so therefore this is for me actually, so I don't have to get a job. But
Yeah.
used the correct way, be like, I'm going to work too, and I'm going to use this to take care of my family. But I don't. It's not about, like, if it wasn't about you, you would go get another job to make to make more money, right?
Right.
Unless, of course,
Yeah.
you would make more on welfare than at the job, in which case the system's all fucked up.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That
Or
happens.
something equal. But
Yeah.
what's funny to me is when they're like, "Oh, we're gonna stop letting you get donuts and pop with WIC or EBT." You can't freak out about that because if you want to afford the unhealthy stuff, you can go get make your own money.
Yeah. Well, I saw somebody
Just
complain about.
greedy with government resources.
Mhm. Yeah, because it's all about you. It's about you and what you need to get from the government, because the government, at its worst, has positioned itself like the mom who's going to take care of you when times are hard. And so, like we were just saying, I think that actually, ideally, we would do that for one another as individuals. We would say, like, I got you, you got me. We would have a social fabric that existed among the people, but the government is almost like a synthetic version of that that's trying to come in and be the replacement. It's like the Coke Zero version. It's like not real, but it's trying to replace the connections we have with each other and be like, all of you guys don't need to worry because I got all y'all's backs. So don't even bother
Mm-hmm.
trying to take care of each other. Don't even bother trying to, grow your food and trade amongst one another and do your thing. You don't need to do that. We're right here. We got it all. We got more than more than what you could do yourself. So don't even worry about forming you know, that social fabric that you need for an actual society.
That was a very good analogy, but Coke Zero is good.
I know I saw you drinking it the other day. That's why
I have been drinking it.
I
Well,
wanted
it's made
to
with stevia leaf, so not
make
that it's
you,
good for you.
yeah,
You want me to argue
but
with
it's
you?
good, right? It's that's the point. I think that is what they do, right?
Yeah, I think I mean,
That's
obviously
exactly what happens.
not Coke per se, but it was
No,
still
no,
a great
no, no,
analogy.
no.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
but that's what they're doing. Whereas we should be setting up, we should be doing the Christian thing and forming bonds with one another and having that fabric that really makes a society, which is like those individual person to person connections on like first on the individual level and then on a city level. You know, you can go,
I
you know,
I
and
think
it
that
builds out.
sounds great, but as soon as one person starts doing better than the other, I think we just end up back with the same problems.
Yeah, you mean that we would have this
There's always going to
social
be
fabric?
successful and there's going to be there's going to be the 1%, there's going to be the middle class, the upper class, lower class, because we at no point is everybody going to be able to be equal because of our own greed.
But the lie is what gets it, I think. I think the
Yeah,
idea
yeah,
of
that's
the
why we
honesty of saying the honesty of when you really care about each other and you can take that to the bank because you know the person who's got your back,
yeah,
as opposed to any politician you want to pick, Gavin Newsom or whatever, who goes out there and says, like, I care so much about you. I am going to be your friend. Elect me, and I'll use this giant system to basically help you out. I got your back. Like, you should not trust that because that's the
yeah,
artificial version of the real thing, which is like the people that are actually around you that you should be, you know, you're not going to get $1 million from Gavin Newsom, but your homie might loan you $10 to help you
hmm
out, or he might let you crash on his couch. And that's something real. And he's not going to like have to rob somebody else to give it
it's
to you.
tangible.
Yeah, it's a real thing. And those are the things that we need to turn and rely upon, I think would make us a much healthier society. Like you said, there will always be people at advantages, but if you know that person who has an advantage, that person might help you out
Yeah,
because that's
yeah,
a real person. That's not someone who's lying to you like a politician to say, I care about you, I'll help you, elect me so I can enrich myself, right? We're talking about greedy people who are willing to lie to you and pretend like they care about you so that they can then enrich themselves. That's what a politician does.
correct. Yeah,
But a real rich person that you might know, that you might live next door to, like somebody who has a 3-story house that's really dope and runs a business and makes tons of money, and that person actually might care about you and then really would help you out because they know you.
yeah. Most of the people I know that are like that are Christians.
Yeah. And at least real people, because they don't have anything to gain from they don't have anything to gain from lying to you, so they're not gonna lie to you. So it's gonna be like that dude where I asked him to jumpstart my car. He's not gonna lie to me and be like, "Sure, buddy, I got you next time." He's gonna be like, "I don't give a fuck about you." Like at least he's honest,
Yeah,
you know.
yes, well, that's true.
At least you know where you stand in that
How
situation.
much more mad will you be if he pulls up and then hooks up your car with your cables and then just drives away?
They fuck you, or he just
Just
takes my
kidding.
cables. He's
Yeah,
like,
that
"Yeah,
too.
can I see your cables? Thanks, bitch." That's what the politician would do.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyways, Hannah just called me again, and so if I don't answer her call, she's gonna. It's the second time I've ignored her call.
Sure, no problem, dude. All
I'm
right, let's shoot for
sorry.
maybe Thursday then.
You're like, let's
No,
shoot for like a month from now because this
I'm
one
not.
sucked.
I'm clearly not even there either, so it's okay.
Okay, I am sorry. Yeah, I'll try to.
No,
I'll
no,
try
no.
to bring a better
Oh, me too.
attitude next time.
Honestly, me too.
Okay,
I
you're
feel like
sick.
shit,
Yeah.
so yeah. All right.
All right, man. It was still
I'll
good.
talk to you later. We're good.
All right.
We got good clips.
Okay. See ya.
All right, bye.